Tampa car dealership abruptly closed its doors today, leaving already frustrated customers wondering what to do.
They knew. They stayed silent. And now, you're the one paying the price. For years, Toyota executives ignored the warnings. Reports of failing hybrids, corroded wiring, and silent shutdowns dismissed like background noise. But now, the internal documents are out. And what they reveal is chilling. This wasn't negligence, it was a strategy. Silence wasn't a mistake, it was a decision. So how did they cover this up for so long? Who helped them keep it buried? And what happens when the regulators finally step in? Because by the time this is over, you'll know exactly why millions of drivers just lost their trust, and what it means for yours. The CEO's unexpected apology. No one expected this. Not from Toyota, not from the top. But there he was, Toyota's global CEO standing before a camera, not to boast about innovation, not to announce a new model, but to apologize. His statement was brief, almost clinical, but the message sent shockwaves through the automotive world. "We have let down some of our most loyal customers," he said. Those were his words. And for RAV4 owners across North America, it felt like a confirmation of everything they had been dreading for years. For decades, Toyota's identity has been built on one unshakable foundation: reliability. And the RAV4 was its cornerstone. It was the family SUV, the daily driver, the all-weather warrior. Now, it is at the center of a growing scandal that threatens to undo everything Toyota spent over 3 decades building. Owner forums exploded within minutes of the CEO's appearance. Headlines began to shift tone, from praise to panic. For Toyota fans who had stood by the brand through thick and thin, the apology didn't feel like leadership. It felt like betrayal, because the statement didn't come after 1 or 2 minor complaints. It came after thousands of documented issues, hundreds of service department visits, a mountain of unresolved recalls, and a growing chorus of disillusioned buyers. Toyota wasn't just late to address the problem, they waited until it became unavoidable. And when the world's most dependable automaker finally speaks, only to admit it's no longer dependable, the damage is already done. But this wasn't just a PR disaster, it was the tip of something much deeper. Because under the hood, a design flaw had quietly become a financial nightmare for RAV4 owners everywhere. But what that CEO didn't say? That's where the story really begins. If this is hitting hard so far, tap like and hit subscribe. We've got even more coming that Toyota doesn't want you to see. The corrosion cover-up. Imagine buying a brand new RAV4 hybrid. You expect 10 years of reliability. You expect Toyota's legendary build quality. But within 2 or 3 years, your hybrid system starts misfiring. Strange warning lights pop up. Performance begins to drop. You take it to the dealership, and they tell you something you can't quite believe. The rear motor cable, the one responsible for powering your rear wheels, has corroded. And replacing it? That's going to cost you over $4,500. If your warranty is expired, you're on your own. The issue lies in the design. Toyota placed the high-voltage cable in a position where it's constantly exposed to moisture, dirt, and road salt. The connector corrodes, leading to system errors and full-on hybrid performance failures. And what makes it worse? Toyota knew about it. In internal bulletins dating back to October of 2020, dealerships in Canada were instructed to watch for corrosion signs. But this information didn't make it to most customers. And when a customer asked about premature wear, they were told the issue was isolated. It wasn't. Reports have poured in from across North America. Drivers from Vermont to British Columbia dealing with the same symptom, a crippled hybrid drive and a fat repair bill. Toyota responded with an updated design, but when tested in the field, the corrosion kept coming. Owners with the fixed version saw the same calcium buildup, the same rust, the same failures. And the warranty? It only covers vehicles under 3 years old or with fewer than 60,000 kilometers, about 37,000 miles. After that, the cost is yours. Some owners have been quoted over $6,000 in total repair fees. One customer described it as the most expensive wire I've ever seen in my life. The result? A wave of distrust that Toyota's warranty coverage can't cover up. But corrosion was just the first crack in a much bigger problem, because the entire hybrid powertrain was about to fall apart. Hybrids are breaking early. Toyota made a promise that their hybrids would be the most durable, most fuel-efficient vehicles on the road. But for a growing number of RAV4 hybrid owners, that promise is breaking down. Long before the vehicle hits 100,000 miles, reports of battery degradation are becoming more frequent, with owners seeing drastic drops in fuel economy and overall system power just 2 to 3 years after purchase. That's well short of the 10-year, 150,000-mile expectation the industry and Toyota set. It doesn't stop there. Coolant loss, overheating, and premature failure of water pumps are showing up in case after case. In colder climates, drivers are dealing with ice-related pressure buildups and persistent coolant crystallization around hose connections. The result? Warning lights that come and go without a clear source. The infamous check engine light has become a constant companion for some drivers, forcing them into repeated service visits with no consistent resolution. And then there's the CVT, the continuously variable transmission system that was supposed to make hybrid driving smooth and efficient. Instead, owners are reporting high-pitched whines under acceleration, sluggish gear response, and an unsettling vibration at highway speeds. It sounds like I'm driving a blender, one owner wrote in an online forum. Another said they felt like their car was always confused. Even simple features, like the fuel gauge, have become problematic. Drivers are running out of gas because the gauge fails to give an accurate reading, an issue that's not just inconvenient, but dangerous. All of these problems have one thing in common. They're showing up early, too early, and that's what makes them more than mechanical failures. They're evidence of a deeper erosion in the very thing Toyota used to guarantee: long-term dependability. And that's when the most alarming failure began to appear, not in how the car performed, but in how it protected you when things went wrong. The safety systems that didn't save lives. One of the most horrifying moments a driver can face is being in a crash and realizing that your airbags never deployed. For a growing number of RAV4 owners, that nightmare became reality. Reports submitted to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration detail collisions where the airbags failed entirely. And when investigators looked deeper, they found a serious issue with Toyota's occupant detection system, a glitch that can prevent airbag deployment altogether. This led to a formal recall, but the damage wasn't limited to those cases. In some instances, the airbags deployed unexpectedly. In others, they activated too late. These aren't just minor errors, they're life and death system failures. And Toyota's handling of these cases has been called slow, inconsistent, and poorly communicated. But the issues don't stop with airbags. Some RAV4 owners have experienced complete electrical shutdowns while driving, losing power steering, dashboard lights, even braking support in mid-traffic. Imagine cruising down the highway and your vehicle just dies. No warning, no time to react, no brakes. That is not just a safety concern, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. And then there are the braking systems themselves. Multiple drivers have reported weak pedal response, inconsistent stopping distances, and a terrifying grab and release feeling while braking. One driver said their RAV4 slid into an intersection even after the brake pedal was floored, and the dealership told them it was normal. What we're seeing isn't just one issue, it's systemic. From sensors to circuits to software, the RAV4's safety infrastructure is riddled with cracks. And the most chilling part? Many of these problems go unnoticed until it's too late. And for the unlucky owners who tried to move on, who said, "Fine, I'll just trade it in," the next shock was even worse. The trade-in value disaster. You expect Toyota vehicles to hold their value. That's one of the core selling points. Reliability equals resale strength. But what RAV4 owners are learning is that when reliability is questioned, resale value collapses fast. Some have walked into dealerships expecting a solid trade-in, only to be laughed out of the room. Others are seeing offers thousands below Kelley Blue Book, sometimes even below the loan balance they still owe. This isn't about cosmetic damage or high mileage. These are 2- and 3-year-old RAV4s, vehicles that should be worth their weight in gold in today's used market. But thanks to widespread reports of corrosion, hybrid failures, and safety system breakdowns, dealers are slashing value before they even inspect the car. One California owner described the humiliation. "I went in thinking I'd upgrade to a Highlander. The salesman took a glance at my VIN, typed something into the screen, and said, 'We're not interested.' Just like that. My car was radioactive. Private resale isn't much better. Word spreads fast. Used buyers research, read forums, and see complaint volumes rising. Many now view the RAV4 as a liability, not a badge of durability. And when a vehicle starts to carry a stigma, resale becomes an emotional hit as much as a financial one. Owners feel tricked, ashamed, trapped. They thought they were buying an asset. Instead, they're holding a ticking time bomb of repair bills and buyer avoidance. What used to be Toyota's biggest strength, resale trust, is now crumbling in real time. This isn't a blip, it's a trend. A systemic failure that points to deeper issues in Toyota's quality control, engineering decisions, and maybe even leadership. The golden shield of Toyota reliability isn't just scratched, it's beginning to crack. When the media turned on Toyota, The media used to treat Toyota like royalty. When other automakers were caught in scandals, Toyota was often held up as the gold standard, the quiet, disciplined giant that just got things right. But in recent months, that goodwill has flipped. Local news stations, automotive magazines, and national networks are all turning their cameras toward Toyota. Not to praise it, but to expose it. It started with isolated reports. Owners posting videos of their RAV4s shutting down mid-drive, mechanics revealing shocking corrosion damage under nearly new hybrids. But then came the firestorm. Consumer watchdog segments began airing stories of customers left with undrivable cars, dealers refusing to help, and repair bills stretching into the thousands. And in the age of social media, one video from a furious RAV4 owner can become a viral headline in under 12 hours. Suddenly, Toyota was no longer the quiet, competent brand. It was the punchline. Late-night talk shows joked about the check engine light that came pre-installed. Automotive YouTubers who once raved about Toyota's engineering are now dissecting its decline in 10-minute exposés with millions of views. The tone has changed from neutral reporting to pointed criticism, and Toyota's response often slow, vague, or overly corporate. That only fueled the narrative. Every deflection added fuel to the fire. Every generic customer service reply felt like proof of guilt. When a company known for trust starts looking defensive, the public notices. A brand that spent 50 years building its reputation now faces a very different battle, one for credibility. And credibility, once lost, is hard to buy back. But public shame is only the beginning. Behind the scenes, lawyers have begun circling, and what they're preparing could threaten Toyota's financial core. The legal storm is brewing. Inside courtrooms across the United States and Canada, a storm is building. Lemon law attorneys, class action specialists, and corporate litigators are all watching Toyota's mounting problems with one question in mind. How much is this going to cost them? The lawsuits began as a trickle. A handful of hybrid owners in California, a couple in Illinois who had their RAV4 shut down on a freeway, a man in Ontario who paid over $5,000 to replace a corroded cable just months out of warranty. Each case alone was minor, but together they form a pattern, a legal roadmap pointing toward systemic negligence. Now that pattern is becoming public. Legal firms are gathering plaintiff lists. Class action suits have been filed in multiple states. Forums are filled with links to legal consultations, and Facebook groups have started aggregating stories for evidence. It's not just about one design flaw. It's about whether Toyota knowingly failed to warn customers, misrepresented the vehicle's durability, or stalled recalls to protect profits. Lemon laws, state-level statutes that protect consumers against defective vehicles, are especially dangerous for Toyota. If a judge rules that a widespread defect significantly impairs use or safety, Toyota could be required to buy back thousands of vehicles, and the reputational damage would be catastrophic. Insiders say Toyota's legal team is already overwhelmed. Settlement negotiations are underway in some cases. Others are headed for trial. And the costs aren't just financial, they include internal manpower, public relations damage, and the slow erosion of investor confidence. But lawsuits are only one symptom of a deeper sickness. The real alarm bells are ringing in the sales department because customers are walking away and they're not coming back. And the numbers? They tell a story Toyota executives hoped would never leave the boardroom. The sales curve falls off a cliff. The RAV4 has been Toyota's crown jewel in North America for over a decade. In 2019, it became the best-selling non-truck vehicle in the United States. It outsold the Honda CR-V, the Nissan Rogue, and even the Ford F-Series in some regions. But now, the curve has turned downward, and it's dropping fast. Quarterly reports show a sharp decline in RAV4 sales over the last 2 years. Even with dealer incentives, cashback offers, and favorable financing, buyers are hesitating. Inventory is stacking up. Dealerships that once struggled to keep RAV4s on the lot now can't move them without slashing prices. And that drop isn't just due to economic slowdown, because other SUVs in the same class are holding steady or even growing. The reasons are clear. Word of mouth has turned negative. Reviews from actual owners are flooding in with horror stories about early breakdowns, unresponsive service departments, and a corporate structure that seems to prioritize silence over support. New buyers, especially younger, research-driven customers, are digging deeper and deciding the risk just isn't worth it. Even existing Toyota owners are thinking twice. One recent survey of past Toyota buyers showed a 25% drop in brand loyalty over a 2-year span. That is unheard of for a company once synonymous with trust. And the damage isn't isolated to the RAV4. It's spreading across Toyota's product line with ripple effects in used pricing, leasing interest, and residual value forecasts. Toyota is trying to mask the decline with incentives, fleet sales, and international rebalancing. But the trend is undeniable. The RAV4, once a symbol of the brand's success, is becoming a symbol of its collapse. And while Toyota scrambles to slow the bleeding, its competitors are sharpening their knives because they see the opportunity of a lifetime. The rivals smell blood. When a titan stumbles, the wolves move in. That's exactly what's happening right now in the compact SUV space, where brands like Subaru, Mazda, and Honda are sensing weakness, and they're making their moves. Subaru has pounced with the Forester and Crosstrek, both of which offer standard all-wheel drive, strong safety records, and, most importantly, a reputation for consistency. Subaru's advertising has subtly shifted to emphasize durability and trust, without naming names. But the message is clear. You want reliable? Come here. Mazda, often the underdog in this segment, is leveraging its sleek design and rising customer satisfaction scores to attract former Toyota buyers who feel burned. The CX-5 and CX-50 are hitting that sweet spot between affordability and refinement. And with fewer high-profile complaints, Mazda is finally earning attention as the smart alternative. Honda, meanwhile, is pushing hard with the redesigned CR-V. They've improved hybrid reliability, enhanced cabin quality, and rolled out loyalty incentives for defecting Toyota customers. One executive reportedly described the strategy as "capture the disappointed." Even Korean automakers like Hyundai and Kia are quietly stealing market share, offering longer warranties, tech-heavy features, and surprisingly strong quality control across their newer models. Toyota's past success was built on predictability. But now that predictability is gone, and in its place, a competitive war is erupting for its customers, many of whom feel abandoned and are ready to jump ship. The rivals aren't just catching up. They're surpassing Toyota in key emotional and mechanical categories. For the first time in years, Toyota's dominance is under real threat. The brand trust crisis. For millions of drivers, Toyota was more than just a car company. It was a personal promise. A promise that if you chose reliability over flash, practicality over hype, your loyalty would be rewarded with peace of mind. But that promise is cracking. And for the first time in a generation, longtime Toyota owners are asking a painful question. Can I still trust this brand? This shift isn't about one faulty wire or a misfiring hybrid system. It's about a deeper emotional fracture. These are people who have bought 4, 5, even 6 Toyotas over the course of their lives. People who taught their children that Toyota is always the smart choice. Now they feel abandoned, not just by a product, but by a philosophy. In forums, owner groups, and comment sections, the grief is visible. "I've defended this brand for decades," one man wrote, "but I can't defend this anymore." Others describe a growing sense of alienation, not just with the cars, but with the way Toyota now communicates. No personal outreach, no genuine accountability, just PR statements, warranty clauses, and silence. Brand trust is like a savings account. Toyota spent over 50 years building it through consistent quality, dependable service, and low-drama ownership. But now, they're making daily withdrawals, and at some point, that account goes dry. The saddest part? This isn't just another recall or scandal. It's a collapse of something deeper, a cultural bond between Toyota and the people who believed in it. And as that bond weakens, the financial world is paying attention, because Wall Street knows that when trust disappears, profits aren't far behind. Wall Street is getting nervous. Behind closed doors in Tokyo and New York, analysts are redrawing their forecasts. Toyota, once considered a stable, conservative growth stock, is now beginning to show signs of risk, and the markets do not like risk. Over the past 12 months, Toyota's stock performance has wobbled. Recalls and hybrid defects have led to unexpected warranty expenses. North American sales figures for the RAV4, once the profit engine for the entire lineup, are sliding. Class action lawsuits loom on the horizon, with potential payouts reaching hundreds of millions of dollars, and internal memos suggest that investor briefings have shifted from expansion to containment. Wall Street analysts are asking tough questions. How long will these legal battles drag on? How many RAV4s will Toyota have to buy back? And how many loyal customers will be lost forever? Some firms are already lowering guidance for the next 2 fiscal years, anticipating a ripple effect through production, marketing, and global supply chains. Toyota has always been seen as too big to fall, a disciplined, diversified company with legendary cost control. But even giants stumble when their foundation is shaken. And for Toyota, that foundation has always been consumer confidence. Institutional investors are watching consumer sentiment closely. When headlines turn from praise to panic, and when social media floods with defect videos instead of owner testimonials, that's a signal. A signal that a brand once considered bulletproof is suddenly vulnerable. And just as investors begin to worry, an even deeper revolt is bubbling up. Not from customers, but from inside the company itself. The workers are speaking up. Toyota built its reputation not just on quality parts, but on human precision. Its factory workers were part of the legend, calm, focused, obsessively detail-oriented. But now, for the first time in decades, the cracks are showing not just in the vehicles, but in the workforce. Reports are emerging from plants in Texas, Ontario, and Aichi Prefecture that frontline employees are voicing concerns about rushed production, inconsistent materials, and pressure to meet quotas over quality. One anonymous technician from the Cambridge plant in Canada told a local newspaper, "We used to stop the line if something didn't feel right. Now we're told to log it and keep moving." The Toyota production system, the globally admired Kaizen method of continuous improvement, is being strained by rising demand, cost-cutting mandates, and an executive culture that appears more concerned with quarterly reports than lifetime reliability. And for the workers on the floor, it feels like betrayal. Unions in North America are beginning to speak out. In Kentucky, Toyota employees staged a private protest over forced overtime and refusal to address known quality control lapses. A labor representative in Japan recently stated, "The workers are proud of what they build, but they're being pushed to prioritize speed over safety. That's not the Toyota way." This growing worker rebellion isn't just a PR headache. It's a sign that Toyota's legendary internal discipline is eroding. And when the very people building the cars start questioning the mission, the consequences aren't just mechanical, they're cultural. And for owners watching this all unfold from the outside, the question becomes deeply personal. What should I do next? What? Every RAV4 owner must decide now. You've heard the news. You've seen the videos. You've felt the frustration. And now, if you own a RAV4, especially a hybrid from the past 5 years, you're standing at a crossroads. Do you hold on to the car and hope the problems don't reach you? Do you try to trade it in before the resale value drops further? Or do you walk away from Toyota altogether? There is no one-size-fits-all answer. But here's what every owner needs to understand right now. If your RAV4 is running fine, don't panic, but do stay alert. Get everything documented. If you notice warning lights, strange sounds, coolant loss, or erratic hybrid behavior, don't ignore it. And if your vehicle is still under warranty, even by a few days, get it inspected immediately and push for written records of every visit. If your car is already showing signs of failure and is outside the warranty window, gather receipts, dealer correspondence, and photos. These documents will be vital if legal action expands. Join online forums and owner groups. There is power in numbers. And if you're considering selling, act fast. The longer you wait, the more widespread the stigma becomes. Buyers are already catching on. A vehicle worth $22,000 today might drop to $16,000 next year if this crisis worsens. But perhaps most importantly, this is a moment to reassess the relationship. Loyalty is earned. If Toyota is not earning yours right now, you're not wrong to feel disappointed or to look elsewhere. Because the truth is simple. Every driver deserves more than just horsepower and heated seats. They deserve honesty, accountability, and above all, trust. And for the first time in 50 years, that's exactly what Toyota can no longer guarantee. Toyota's silence broke your trust, and now it's your move. If this opened your eyes, hit that like button, subscribe, and drop a comment below. your voice might be the warning someone else needs. Stay informed, stay sharp, and don't get caught in the silence.